It's a gloomy day out. It was raining most of the day, and it's going to start raining again this afternoon. So Father's Day is around the corner. So today I decided to work on my 6.5 horsepower Hangkai motor. So the old carburetor was flooding, and I bought a Yamaha 6 horsepower carburetor. And this is the Yamaha carburetor. Had to make some adjustments to it in order to get it to fit properly. I mean, the fit was good, but the choke lever wasn't lined up, so I had to make some adjustments to the choke lever. What kind of engineering is that? All right, Joe. Use the cotter pin and made some adjustments to the wire. Now the choke moves. Genius. See the top of this right here was hitting the vent here. With a hot blade, I cut it down. And then eventually I removed that little snub off. It wasn't allowing it to churn. These adjustments, I got open choke, closed choke. That was fine. The other issue I ran into is there was two fuel lines. There's a fuel in and a fuel return. And my other carburetor only had one fuel line going in, no return. There's the fuel in on the Hangkai, and the fuel out return is capped. You see that? On the Yamaha, it wasn't capped. That threw me for a loop. And here's what the Yamaha looked like. So that was a little bit of a mystery. Once we figured out that the other end was a return, I was able to cap it off. So that's what I'm doing. I just put everything back in and closing up the cover, finishing putting the bolts on in the carb, and then we'll see if we can get this thing running. The last bolt on the carburetor is installed. I had to take out this flywheel, loosen it up to remove the carb. I did make a video where it was the old carb was flooding and the fuel was coming out of this vent here on the old carb. This is a brand new carb, and then I still had some spillover from fuel, but the spillover was from the fuel outlet that I've capped off. Shouldn't be any more spillover, and now she should start running. All right, I gotta finish hooking up the throttle, hook up my choke, and see how we do. Putting that flywheel back on. 3 screws, 3 bolts to put it in place. Okay, we got her in, sealed. Gotta hook up my throttle. All right, throttle set. Sounds like we need to make some adjustments to the carb. You gotta really hone in on those listening skills and focus on what the engine is doing while staring at that little tiny adjustment screw for the air vent. For a little 6 horsepower motor, sounds like a motorcycle with the cover off. She's in gear now, so we tested the gears. Just going in and out of gear, no problem. This screw here is where you adjust the idle. She sounded pretty good, but if you feel like you need more fuel or more throttle on the idle, you turn the screw clockwise. And if you want less throttle on the idle, turn the screw counterclockwise or outward. All right, we got the cover back on. I'm gonna see if we can get it to run again. I think we're back in business, fellas. Yeah. Okay. So this is the original carb that the Hangkai motor came with. And the bowl is in here. So I'm gonna open her up so we can take a look at what was causing it to flood. So before I would run the motor and it would spill gas out of here. The float wasn't working well. That's why I hadn't used that motor. But now we got a new Yamaha carburetor on there. Although my motor is less than 2 years old, so you would think I shouldn't have to change anything in the carb just yet. This is how you take the bowl apart. So basically, this is how you get to the bowl. And if we were in the water, I would have already dropped a little washer. So the biggest thing about doing this job on the water is you're bound to drop something, so you need to put something down so you don't lose anything. So here's what she looks like inside. It's not too bad in there. The bowl is fairly clean. I see some small particles. There's the float. So when there's gas in the bowl, right? That's how it is. When there's gas in this bowl, the gas comes in through here, fills the bowl through that jet, through here. This thing goes up as the fuel level rises. This goes up and it closes a little jet that's way in there. It closes that jet off so you don't overflow. So what was happening with this particular carburetor is that jet was not closing. It wasn't sitting properly. So I gotta try to figure out why it's not sitting properly. I can see it move. See in here, you can see it move. There's a little bit of play, so when the boat's vibrating, you're not open and close, right? A little bit of play before it actually comes out and goes in. So I think there might be some crud in there. I figured I would do a quick test, right? So if the fuel goes in through this hole, wear your eye protection. Fuel goes in through here. Right now, I am manually holding the float open. The float is down, right? So it should squirt. We should see gas coming out of there, right? Check it out. Which is the carb cleaner. See that coming out of there? This is where the fuel goes in. I'm spraying carb cleaner. Fuel goes in here. The float, I'm holding it open. There's the fuel. So this line's clean. Now I'm holding it closed. Ah, so it does sit. So no fuel. You see how it didn't jump up that time? That time, so it's closed, right? That's why you wear glasses. But something's going on where it wasn't sealing properly and it would stay open and gas would continue to rise. Now, the gas, when it shoots in through here, comes out in the middle in that little hole, that little jet. That's the jet. So this is our main jet. Notice how it doesn't spray out. It hits a clog and backfires. There we go. Maybe there's some crud in there. See that spraying out? Nice. So basically we gotta take all of these out. And I don't know that I really need to remove it. It just sprayed just fine. Yeah, that would have been another piece given to the ocean. Here's that jet. Oh yeah. Where'd you go, buddy? I can see right through it. It's pretty good. Nice. Put that bad boy back in there. So now I'm going to slide this pin out, remove the float, and clean this jet. That would have gone in the ocean. Here's the pin that holds it in place. floats out. That thing just popped right off. All right, so see, the tip is a rubber tip. It looks to be in okay shape. That rubber tip plunges this hole. And so it wasn't sitting properly before, and that's why I kept flooding out. It's gonna spray it inside. See that come out of here? Watch. When you open the throttle, that's what happens. That opens up. That's when you're doing the throttle. That's the fuel through, the sprayed fuel. Here's your idler. And then there's the choke. Here's the choke. Choke is pulled all the way up. And then when you push the choke in, it opens the air vent. Pull the choke out, closes that, lets less air through, push it in, lets more air through. Just gonna spray this up a little bit in here. Spraying all the jets. Wow. It's looking good. Yep. That's the vent for the bowl. That's what lets air through it, so that when the fuel's filling up, it's able to, the float valve is able to move up and down. Gonna put it back together. The float needle goes in, and then the float itself goes in place. Try to find that pin you dropped and put that back in to keep the float where it should be. No rad dads were injured in the making of this video. Ah! A final test just because. It's seating. It's working. Screw in the bowl cover. So now I have the original as a spare because I got the Yamaha on there right now. I'm not gonna take that all apart. It's working good. So I got a clean carb ready to go for when that one gets gummed up or whatever. I'm gonna write on here with a Sharpie. Hangkai 6.5. Because I got too many little carbs hanging around in this garage. Good to go. Let's go test her out. All right, so let's make sure everything's working okay. It's the first time I'm gonna start it since the house. Got my electric start in. It's good. Fuel's connected. It's in neutral. All's good. Got a little resistance. We're good. Give it a throttle a couple times. My choke. Let's see what happens. Just needed to prime the line a little better. good. Let's take her for a spin. Look of a satisfied captain. Hard work paid off, saved some money in the end, and my dinghy is back in effect. My next job to do is to replace the carburetor on the Honda, but we won't be doing that today. She's not a bad motor, this Hangkai, but I think if I get another one, I'm gonna get a 10 to 15 horse on my next motor. But that won't be for some time. We're gonna run these ones down a little bit. Touchdown! Home sweet home. We made it back aboard Solitude, our floating beach house. Sounds pretty good. Running good. Not stalling. So the repair we did on the clutch working, and I still have that original carb as a backup. So another successful repair. See you on the next episode. Solitude and Sailing. You made it to the end of the video. Thank you for watching Solitude and Sailing. Don't forget to subscribe so you can get caught up on all of the new videos coming out. Take care.